TheOAMNetwork.com.
Power to the podcast.
Dear Millennials, a lit ass podcast.
Yeah.
Hey. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 10.
10. It's been 10.
10. All right, y'all. Yo, thank you for tuning in. We want to shout out everybody who's always tuning in week after week after week after week after week after week.
Okay.
All right. Make sure you search Dear Millennials on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram at Dear Millennials _. Follow us on Twitter at DMillennialsPod. Search us on YouTube at Dear Millennials Podcast. Yo, check us out on YouTube. Even if you watch the Facebook watch party or you listen on any other of our platforms, yo, make sure you check out that YouTube. Give us a like or something, subscribe. Also, you can find Dear Millennials on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Play. And if you have any booking, sponsorship, donation, or any other type of inquiries, make sure you email us at dearmillennialspodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for everybody who has bought a Dear Millennials lit ass t-shirt. If you haven't received yours, they are definitely in the mail, or our last few people should be getting theirs. With that being said, welcome to episode 10. Those Millennials is what we call in today's show. I am Marvin Frank. I'm sorry, top ranked Marvin Frank. Yeah. Singer, songwriter, educated student to the game, homie, lover, friend. R. Kelly still out in these streets, dog.
If you bring up R. Kelly one more time,
I have to do it every time. I have to.
All right, South Memphis stand up. It's your boy Mac Love and got these chicks straight out the oven. Educated, motivated, dark skin, drinking hand, teacher, preacher, got you dying laughing, calling me the Grim Reaper.
Question: what is a Grim Reaper?
Grim Reaper, you know, like you.
Even though I always say it after, I don't know what a Grim Reaper is.
You don't know who the Grim Reaper is? It's
the guy who it is, but why does it relate to you?
Because it's dying and the Grim Reaper comes.
Okay.
Really? Yeah.
I still don't know who the Grim Reaper is.
You don't know the Grim Reaper?
Who is the Grim Reaper?
That was like one of the scariest things as a kid.
Stop. Mary Jane, just go.
All right, Mary Jane, Georgia raised, Memphis paid, book club creator, the woman storyteller, and your favorite around the way girl.
Gal.
No, girl.
And y'all already know who it is. It's your girl OPP, aka South Memphis Queen, also known as the Memphis Finest.
She's so fine, y'all. And shout out to Gilly over there on the soundboard, the owner of OAM Network, in which we're here. This beautiful setting, production room. Yep. We're at Crosstown Concourse in Memphis, Tennessee. So with that being said, y'all, episode 10, those quote-unquote millennials. But before we get into our conversational piece, we got some things that we need to get to. It is now time for the 10 DM commandments. All right, y'all, things you need to live by in 2019. Number one. All right, if you're an avid listener, say it with us. Thou shalt not support Trump.
Fuck no.
No. Don't support Trump. All right. Number two, thou shalt do it for the culture. Shout out to Beyonce's Homecoming. And I just want to say this.
It was a beautiful feeling.
I just want to say this, and I'll say his name later in the show because I got to find it. It is very obvious that Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated has definitely been the greatest influence in Beyonce's Homecoming per the precision. Hashtag precision, y'all.
Can I just say something really quickly? I had the opportunity to just watch half of the show before we came to recording. And I can say, man, it was just like witnessing Obama become president. It was amazing.
Really?
Yes, I felt great. I don't know. Being from, I love HBCUs, okay? And then Beyonce up there representing us at Coachella and then watching her do a documentary, she came with it.
And the first black woman to headline Coachella since 1999.
Yeah.
So that's what's so significant, to use that platform to highlight and celebrate a culture specifically reflective of HBCU.
And before DeMarcus, you come in and say something negative, you gotta watch
wasn't
it
even.
first.
I was so.
You said, yeah. I mean,
So, but my thing is, so the name of it is Homecoming, right?
It is.
But they have the Sigma sign as the E. That's all I got a problem with. I think that's just like the Sigma
Cat
sign.
emoji.
You know what I'm saying? It's not an E.
But it's a Greek alphabet, like.
Right, but it's not in representation of E. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying? But anyway,
I get it.
all right.
Wait, hold on. Can I do this real quick?
Yeah.
Shout out to the good brother Jamal Joseph, who choreographed or was a part of the choreography team for Homecoming. Okay.
All right, anyway. All right, number 3, thou shalt get over thyself on social media. Man, come on, man. Like, first of all, I don't like people who follow us, then go back, and then unfollow us.
after we follow them, let's make sure you say that.
After we done follow them. Like, that doesn't make, so you, what, why are you unfollowing us in the first place? Like, what reason do you have, like, following one more person so that your followings can be more than your followers can be more than your following? Like, bro, get over yourself. Like, at the end of the day, you still a broke ass motherfucker. So,
Wow.
Don't be mad because you ain't lit.
I hate people like that.
I do too. All right, keeping along this social media theme. Number 4, thou shalt stop explaining yourself to social media. Hashtag WDC. We don't care. All right, shout out to Misha. She said that one to us. Hey, Misha Boo.
Oh, and if you ever feel like we should add a commandment, please hit us up. We're definitely interested to know what you guys are thinking.
All right, number 5, thou shalt stop sending subliminals.
I hate that shit.
Man, look.
Talk your shit, Lenny.
Talk your shit. If
Love
you got
those.
problems, say it to my face. We can knuckle up anytime, any place.
Hey.
Meet me in the
Trap.
It's going down.
Meet me in the Hey.
It's going down.
Meet me in the
club.
Hey.
It's going down.
Anywhere you meet me, guaranteed
it's going down.
Let's go, Mark.
All right. Number 6. All right. Thou shalt stop comparing your life to someone's highlight reel. All right. When you log into Facebook, all right, yeah, people are posting their celebrations, things that they're accomplishing, their highlight reel. And oftentimes it can become somewhat depressing. It's not like we hate or anything like that, but just like be mindful that, you know, don't compare your life to somebody's highlight reel. All right. And stay focused. All right. Your time is coming.
Number 7, thou shalt not name thyself Lil Nas. There's already a Nas, okay?
Yeah.
What if
Like-
his name is really Nasir, though?
I mean, I guess.
But pick another rapper name.
Right, come on, man. Like,
There's only one Nas.
It's only one.
I mean, if that's the case, no rapper should use the word little or big.
Okay,
Or
we
baby.
been thought that though.
First of all,
Or
'cause
baby.
they gotta grow up.
Whatever. No.
Lil Wayne, well, he did turn to he said Lil Wayne.
Yeah, so.
Weezy F Bay.
All right, number 8, thou shalt not use filters to trap niggas. Okay?
That's.
Look like your profile pictures
That
always
goes
saying.
both
Look like the
ways.
pictures that you posting in real life.
Right, and also, you know, take body pictures. We can't have a shoulder
chin.
up. We can't have a shoulder up picture because we need to know how your whole body looks.
Well, you know there's an app where you can contour your body, too.
I know that, but
So-
Photoshop even does that.
Yes, exactly. So you just have to be honest and true to yourself.
not everybody is skillful in Photoshop. So take full body pictures. Thank you, management.
Yeah. Number 9.
Number 9, thou shalt pay your taxes.
You don't want 0 problems, big
Oh
fella.
my God.
With
With the Fed. Did I sound just like it?
Yeah.
Go pay your taxes, big fella. Shout out to Hi Davis. I'm not biting your style, Doc. I'm influenced. I'm inspired by it.
Message me back on Instagram.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I disagree with that. Paying your taxes. I feel like you should. Yes, I feel that.
Even Gil said.
No, seriously, you should have be in a certain tax bracket to pay your taxes.
Yeah.
I don't think you should be a recent college graduate, just getting your first salary job, and then the next following year on top of the student loans you have to pay back, the house, your house note, your car note, or your apartment
And
note.
so many
And then
bills.
so many bills, like you're not even enjoying the money that you're making. You're paying bills.
Okay.
So I feel that you
And
should.
those are the facts.
Thank you. Thank you.
Number 10,
Number 10, thou shalt execute your vision. All right, y'all, write the vision.
Make it plain. Who?
The only person stopping you is you.
Right.
Well, I'm about to shout
So
right
this
there.
came from Michelle Williams shouting Beyonce out for her homecoming on Netflix. And she mentioned that B always says, if I dreamed it, that means I can do it. Or she's always saying, don't tell me something can't be done. Don't tell me something can't be done. I had a vision, so I can make it happen. So I mean, like, that's crazy to me. That's amazing. You really have to hold on to that affirmation.
And with that being said, let's go ahead and certify and sign off on these 10 DM commandments. Can we get a fact check, please?
And those are the facts.
Yes.
Shout out to my boy Bryson Wilson.
Never gets old.
From Sugarland, Texas. All right, y'all. Now it's time for the quickie segment where OPP will be giving us some news story that we may or may not have heard or that are currently trending. So with that being said, can we get a real sexy... I snorted on that one. Did y'all hear me snort?
Yes.
Oh my God, that was not
Oh my
sexy.
gosh, Marvin.
Right. So, all right, guys, let's go ahead and get into these quickies for this week. So, police in Frederick County in Baltimore, Maryland, arrested a 34-year-old man by the name of Rudolph Smith. Rudolph knowingly spread HIV and AIDS to women using a dating app to hook up and meet with them. He did this devious act for 21 months, and now investigators are looking for the women that he engaged in sexual activities in to put them on notice and to go get tested. Yes. So exactly. So for me, I just want you guys to be conscientious of who you're hooking up with, because it's some real life predators out there.
I do.
It is. I could not believe that he would make an account on a dating app and do that. What type of vengeance do you have in your soul to go out and spread AIDS? What?
You know, that's actually against the law too. You know, you have to
that's
by
why he's
law
going to jail for it.
because that's attempted murder. That's so I mean, yeah, it's one thing you have and you don't know it, but you knowingly know that you have it, and then your intent is to spread it to everybody. Yeah, that's trifling.
Did it say what dating app
I'm pretty sure
he
they did.
used?
No,
Okay.
they did not.
Purposely.
They did
So,
not.
okay,
I'm pretty sure it's what?
dude.
Purposely, they did it purposely. Like they probably said that first, but the company probably bought it out. Like, hey, look, we don't want that, because then we gonna lose all our people that's on it.
It probably was Tinder.
Dude had to be attractive though. I mean, cause let's be real. I mean,
I saw a
niggas don't get
picture
hits
of
like
him.
that.
Yeah.
I
on
saw a
dating
picture.
apps.
He wasn't that
he's
attractive.
average.
Was it
Really?
Was
He's
it jail bay?
average.
Was it jail bay?
It was not Joe Bay. The guy was average. You can look him up.
He wasn't.
That is
Here he
the
is.
only dude. What?
Exactly.
He
Dude
look
look like
An alpha.
Dang, you gonna mess up our listeners. They're not gonna support us anymore.
Oh,
Stop with
wow.
that.
McLovin,
sorry.
that was so petty.
I didn't say
Coming for the alphas. What? You're a hater.
I didn't say beta
You
pie.
always coming for the alphas.
Bloody
you
beta
are
pie,
a
my guy.
hater.
My bad.
Bloody Betty Pie.
It's obvious.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
All right, y'all. So that was our quickie segment. Thank you, OPP.
He has another one.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you good.
McLovin got me all out. So, as you all already probably know, Insecure will not be returning to HBO until spring of 2020.
That's okay.
Yes.
Nuh-uh, we already have to wait an entire year. Now it's gonna be 2 years.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I didn't watch it.
Wait, okay. So when you say not returning to HBO, are you like?
Yes, she.
So will there be? I'm saying. I guess when I'm asking, will they be now premiering on another network?
No, so Insecure is not premiering at all on HBO. Issa Rae is not coming back until spring of 2020 because she have creative
A baby.
writer. No, she does not have a baby.
She
creative
did just get
writer's
engaged.
block.
To who? Kofi?
I don't know, but I heard she just got
She
engaged.
just got
You know,
engaged.
Was it to Kofi?
No.
Oh, Kofi, the one,
We don't know.
Ralph Angel, y'all from
People
Queens.
told me
I thought they
look
were
like Kofi
dating.
sometimes though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was a rumor about that a while ago.
People said I look like Kofi sometimes.
No.
I'm not.
Hey, in the words of Chief Keef, nah.
In the words of Brother Park, nah. Nonsense.
So Issa, since you booed up and your creative juices are not
That's how-
flowing, let me get in the
That's
writer's
how-
room, please.
That's how friends get when they got a boo thing. They forget
Right.
about what they got to be doing.
But you know what? I'm not mad at that because of the momentum that Insecure has had, what it's meant
Yeah.
to television, to the culture. Like, we don't want just any old thing being thrown. So I get that. And I mean, that happens actually pretty common. When people were waiting on like Watch the Throne with Jay and Kanye, it took so long because Kanye was having some issues with his creative flow or whatever. So I mean, that's pretty common of artists to postpone projects, if and I appreciate that.
Look, in mention of that, I'm so happy that Being Mary Jane is coming back for a 2-hour finale next Tuesday, August 23rd, although it was supposed to be last night. But I'm so excited to see who she marries.
But
Shout out to Gabrielle Union Wade.
Yes, Gabrielle Union Wade.
I'm a little upset because now we don't have Insecure and we don't have Love Is. What are we gonna watch on TV?
Well, I want to, since we all shouting out our show, I don't watch TV like that, but I am excited that Game of Thrones is back on. I finally caught up, and I definitely made it to Sunday when they released episode 1, season 8. Thank you.
I'm just ready for power.
Yeah,
I'm ready for power.
They need to make another
mixture.
season of Scandal. Anyway, let's go.
All right, and that's all I have for this week's quickies, you guys.
Thank you, OPP. Keeping it real sexy. Can we get a real, well, not keeping it, kind of news sexy, I guess. Keeping with the sexy news. All right, can we get a real quick?
I love you, McLovin.
Nah. All right, y'all. That was time for Hood Code with McLovin.
Hey,
Greetings.
how are you?
Awesome.
It is I, Priest McLovin, giving you the codes to the streets. Take out your hood Bibles and follow along with me. This reading is from Celanese, chapter 4, verse 6. Once again, Celanese, chapter 4, verse 6. When you have it, say, yeah, my nig.
Yeah, my nig.
And it reads, you are not hood if your family does not sell the following. Food stamps, $45 a book. Fish plates to raise money for a funeral. Or for an out-of-town trip that a relative waited to the last minute to pay their portion. Or one of your siblings during tax season for at least $500.
Oh my God.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have kicked it with McLovin for your hood codes. Have a lit ass week.
All right, y'all. Things abided by the streets of the hood. Can we get a fact check for McLovin's hood code?
Those are the facts.
That's real.
That was a pound selling these. You have to hashtag.
Yeah, you do. Understand that, man. If you have more, cause first of all, when you filing taxes, you only can file what, two kids?
It depends. You can do more than up to 2 if you're married.
But if you do more, then it decreases. So that's why a lot of people sell their kids for like $500 to $1,000.
That's correct. Actually, it's not 500. It starts at 1,000.
Well, it depends on who it is. Crackhead people sell theirs for like 500.
So yeah. So now, if you have a little bit of sense, it starts at 1,000.
Right.
1,000 to 1,500 is tops and max.
Absolutely.
Please don't ask me how I know this.
And for those who don't know what a book is for food stamps, that is $65.
Thank you. Everybody know what the book is.
Free. For those who don't know, a lot of people sell their food stamps for $40 to $45.
No.
For one book. Yes.
No, you do not. Who sells a book for $45? You are getting ripped off.
No.
You are getting ripped off.
That is not
hood
true.
rivalry.
That is not true.
Who okay.
I know. Look, I bought $40 books and I bought $45 books.
So who you ripping off? First of all,
how much you spend on a book?
First of all, minimum is $60. Where you going?
No, first of all, a book is $65. So you tell me I'm paying you $60 for a book that is $65. You are getting cheated.
No, you're cheating people.
So those who are viewing right now, we're gonna put a poll up.
Yeah.
How much do you pay for a goddamn book from somebody? A food stamp.
Exactly. Oh, we snitching on the whole hood.
Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram.
Food
That's
stamp
Dear
police.
Millennials_.
We are the food stamp police because I don't know where he gets a book from for $45. out.
Who you buying? Anyway, that's look. I'm mad at you.
Okay,
that you paying
let's take this combo
Answer
after the show. Okay,
Answer the poll.
Y'all ain't gonna stop.
I'm mad. I'm sorry.
All right, y'all. So that was Hood Code with
I can't believe we let
McLovin.
y'all go on with that for that long.
That was after Hood
I'm
Code.
sorry, listeners.
And Frank ass just like, ooh, what?
Oh,
Y'all must not.
45.
Well, they ain't got no food
45,
stamps.
45.
Middle classers.
First of all, hold on. Oh, because you make more money than all of us.
No.
So let's not even do it.
Now,
Okay, I'll put some-
all right, come
I'm
on
just
now.
messing
All
with
right.
you. I don't know how much O makes, y'all. I'm just messing with you. All right, y'all. Now it's time for Living Single with Miss Mary Jane. And we're living
Single.
Hey, in the thousands kind of world.
Yeah.
I'm glad
I wish we were in the
got
90s.
Mother-
All right, so
Hey,
I have this friend, you all, and she's right now in her life, she's living like her best single life. All right, but as we all know, the story goes, her ex is starting to creep back in. All right, and this is an ex that she has been with quite a few times, like on and off. So she's not at this point, like in her mid, living her best single life and just kind of just moving on. She's not sure if she should give this ex another chance or just try to completely cut ties with this ex once again. So, like, I'm about to put this question on the table because I know a lot of millennials have this, you know, where the ex try to, you know, open that door again, and you've always dreamed of that world with them. So you're like, okay, should I pursue this person or should I just move on to the next? So when do you know that you have to get away from that one ex that you just can't let go? And when you have identified that moment, how do you stay committed to that decision?
Well, just remember the reason you guys broke up. No dipsy backsies. Because if you guys broke up the first time, there is a reason. If you broke up several times, I'm pretty sure that's the same reason you broke up. Like, it's not uncommon for you to go back into a relationship with someone that you're comfortable with. You're familiar with this person, so you know what you're expecting. So it's a pro and a con. So it's like, I know what I'm getting myself into. I know what I'm getting. We have history together. However, I know we broke up because of X, Y, and Z. If you guys are not willing to work on X, Y, and Z, then why are you back together?
Interesting. So,
man, it's tricky, man. Exes are tricky, man. Sometimes you have to understand that they don't want you, but they don't want nobody else to have you.
Damn.
And yeah, that's deep. And I definitely can,
Selfish.
Relate. He probably just see that, like you said, she was living her best life single. And his mind wanders. Men don't like to see women happy if it ain't with them, regardless if we really want you or not. Nor do we want to imagine you giving that pussy up to somebody else. And that's just being real.
Of course not.
Is that the only thing?
Slick, yeah. And men are territorial. It's like a dog peeing on a post.
Really?
Great analogy.
That's what
When-
you're gonna
No.
That's great.
So when
that.
the man, dick you down, you know what I'm saying? He can't imagine, and if you throw that ass back the right way, he can't imagine you doing that for another motherfucker. And God forbid if you turn gay. Ooh. Oh.
What
ooh.
does that do?
That will You can't be the last nigga she talked to, then turn gay. Hey, yeah, that's Marvin Frank. She used to date Marvin Frank. Oh, she gay now, right after him. Nobody want that on them.
Dang, I didn't know it was that deep.
Me
Yes.
either.
yeah.
We don't need that on. And for me, I don't need my girl dating me, then break up, then date a white guy. Not right after me.
A white guy?
What
What's
does
wrong
that
with
have to
dating
do
a white
with
guy?
It can't be right after me because
Why?
now it's like black niggas ain't shit.
That ain't got
and then
nothing
boom.
What if
to do
it's
with
not
it. It
like
has
that
to
at
do
all,
with
though?
Nobody
compatibility.
cares about what it's really like. It's the fact that she did it right after me.
Oh
No,
my
it has to do
gosh.
everything with compatibility.
I love
it for all of us.
I love you,
No.
Gil. Gil over there smirking. Gil looking like, yeah, she dated me.
I'll be there. I'll be there.
Gil, I love you. Tell me you love me back, please.
Oh my God!
Okay,
Stop.
You know, I think it's hard to leave the familiar. And it's hard, I mean, to put it in perspective, like, I think it's hard to start all over for anybody, especially if you've been with somebody for so long. If you said they've been, like, on and off, you know, I think it's hard to move forward. And, I mean, I don't know. I think there's still a part of that person. Maybe there is a possibility that it can work out. But yeah, I just think it's hard to let go. I think it just really depends on like what's invested, because you have some people who will say that, man, if you have invested X, Y, Z, all you've done is just prepare that person for somebody else to just come in and take advantage of, you know, your hard work or like what you may have taught that person and things like that, or, you know, kind of help them become who they are.
Well, no. You just did your community service hours.
But then where does that leave that other person?
Well, you've done your community service hours. You've done a good deed.
Interesting.
You're welcome. I helped you out.
Oh, you saying to that person?
See, yeah. So you just done your community service hours.
What about y'all? Have you guys, McLovin and Marvin Frank, ever creeped back to the ex to try to get her back?
Man, and y'all know my situation. I know Mary Jane, though. And I ain't trying to say no names, but yeah, man, it's been like that, man. And even then, man, and women are the same way. You know, exes are the same. You know, all my exes live in Texas.
Like on George Strait.
Subliminals. Anyway.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, fuck them. Anyway. But nah, man, for real, like, that's how it is, man. They like to waste your time, man. And it's just like, we just need to just leave their ass in the past. They exes for a reason, like O said, you know, remember who you are. Mufasa reference. Thank you.
I don't know. I think it's still complicated. I mean, because there are a lot of people who are together who have, for instance, I'm sure many of us have friends who have been they were with somebody maybe in college, high school, they took a break, or then at some point later in life, they reconnected and they continue their life together. So I don't know. I mean, I think we have to kind of acknowledge the time that we're in. And sometimes things are meant to be in that season, but it doesn't mean that it won't, you know, come back at some point. So I think that's the hardest part, and that's like the most difficult thing to kind of move forward with, is that, hey, you know, this may not just be the season for it, you know?
But that's come with communication. What people don't understand, man, when you leave a relationship and come back, you bring in a lot of other shit that you didn't have at first. You know what I'm saying? And then it makes the mind wonder, man. Like, we break up and, you know, I've been in a relationship for this long, 2 years, and then we broke up, then we got back together, you know, after damn near 2 years. Then in my mind, I'm like, the fuck you been doing, you know? And let you learn some new tricks. Oh, hell no. We are fighting.
But I think at that point, I don't
you
even
need to
think
get
that
over
should,
yourself.
I don't think, that's not even healthy though to consider that.
Where the fuck you suck dick like this from? Hold on. What?
Oh, my God.
Wow.
You remember that? Remember Chris Rock on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, the Kanye album? You remember
Yes.
that? I've never been to this part of Pussy Town before. Who taught you this? Ye taught me. You remember that? Yeezy taught me. Anyway,
Oh my gosh. Y'all
yeah,
are
so
crazy.
I don't know. I mean, to each his own.
I just want to end on the fact that it's very intoxicating when you have to go back and forth not knowing. So I don't know the answer to this question. Like, when you just...
How long they been broken up?
They've been broken up for like a year now.
Need to go ahead. Well,
That's still
things happen
fresh.
for a reason, and the reason why they broke up, if it's fixed when they come back, then it's good. So yeah.
That was.
Thank you all for participating in today's Living Single topic.
Thank you, Mary Jane. The people love living single with Mary Jane.
Really?
They do.
I'm glad that you
we
all
get
love
a
it.
lot of like great feedback from this segment. So, if you're watching the watch party, make sure, you always feel free to comment.
Yeah.
And thank you. Our last watch party was great. Pretty awesome. All right, y'all. It is now time for our conversational piece of the evening. Episode 10, ladies and gentlemen. It is entitled Those Quote Unquote Millennials.
Right, because they always got something to say.
Yeah. So today we want to talk about, everyone other than millennials has an opinion on who and what quote unquote millennials are. all right, millennials are this. Oh yeah, those millennials. Those millennials. You know. So this episode is dedicated to, you know, kind of, I think, our combat of those stereotypes, whether they be good or bad, or just our, you know, just our perspective on them. And yeah, kind of like what these stereotypes are that have been given by the outside world and those that are outside of the millennial generation. So with that being said, all right, so we were doing some research, like just kind of looking a lot at different, whether they be scholarly articles or just blogs. And one common theme that we saw was discussing like how millennials have grown up in a technological age. So the question becomes, are we too dependent on technology? Do you all feel that? I mean, I don't know what generation that's alive has not grown up in somewhat of a technological age. Technology has been around, though it's advanced. But
I would like to say that this article mentioned how we grew up with it and we don't remember a life without it. That has some truth, but then I don't think that we were as advanced as this new generation is. I feel that we have grown into being dependent on it, but I feel like it's because of social media.
Well, no. You have to use technology to get a job. You have to have the basic skills of using technology to get a job. So it all depends on how you look at it, because you damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Yeah. Like, you look at the latest job descriptions, like even for teachers, you have to have a certain amount of knowledge of technology use. You have to know how to program, creativity, PowerPoint, Excel, all of this. And you have to think about it. We're not dependent on it. It is required of us to know it.
I think the question is, are we too dependent on it? And what I was coming from is social media. We cannot go, well, a lot of us cannot go without a day unless we go on a hiatus that we have to name on social media, for one, without looking at our phone and looking at the what's being updated. So dependent meaning, can you go without it? You know, can you put it down and live your life for a day, an hour or so without it?
Well, I think millennials are
without feeling like that eagerness to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like millennials are very unique in that we grew up in a time where we saw technology advance, like with our own eyes. We went from using, you know, kind of some of the first Windows computers or having a landline.
Dial-up.
You know, we grew up without a cell phone. You know, we enjoy going outside. So I think we have a perfect balance of being technologically savvy and also having great communication and interpersonal skills. So I think we're very unique in that. So I don't think we're too dependent on it. But I do think the world revolves around technology. And I mean, unfortunately, you can't be in the know if you're not, if you're not engaged in social media.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think
who's picking up a paper every day?
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate though, because technology and social media is also intoxicating.
And then you also have to think about it. Each news periodical, the newspaper, have their own apps. So
yeah.
So they have apps for you to read the news. So they're encouraging you to use technology to stay updated.
So, man, and I'm a firm believer that we as millennials and even after us rely on technology for everyday life. And technology just doesn't mean cell phones. Let's look at it in the sense, like somebody, one of my partners posted on Facebook, I found 6 remote controls in my house, and none of them go to the TV in the living room.
Wow.
So he ended up downloading the phone out. I mean the TV out, the remote control out. You know, okay. But it's like we're so fascinated of knowing that. Damn, I remember when this happened, when you picked up the phone and the internet cut off. Yeah. To now that we got cell phone where we can walk around and talk on the phone and look shit up. Yeah. There's not a day that a millennial wakes up and don't look at their phone. Hands down. I look at their phone for text messages, because that's part of technology. Look at their phone for social media. Look at their phone, for the weather app. I don't even know why they got the news anymore. Because people look at it on their phone.
It's taking over radio.
Yep.
Yeah, all that. People don't listen to radio no more. We got aux cord. We got Apple Music. We got Spotify. We got Google Play. All of what Dear Millennials is on. But
Same as
so we do. So we've moved from radio to music to music
to
app,
satellite radio
or to podcasts. People don't even listen to radios no more. It's podcasts all of that.
I think people listen to the radio.
I
just don't think that that people listen as much as they used to, because you have a certain generation, specifically the ones beyond millennials. Like, that's why Tom Jordan. Oh, well, Tom Jordan. That shows. Okay, I'm on the. I know there was talk about it, but I mean, when you think about, even radio shows are now moving to having multi-platforms, such as the Breakfast Club, right? Mm-hmm. They're on Power 105.1 New York, but then we listen to it via probably YouTube, things like that. So I think, people listen to radio, but it's also on but I get what you're saying. Definitely technology has transitioned. Y'all ready? Can we move forward?
Yeah.
All right. So there's another one from the article, and Mary Jane can share the link that we're referring to, the article. But it's quote unquote, they know more about the world. Interesting, which I don't really think is a negative thing. Or they know it all.
No, we were exposed to more.
Yeah.
Just think about what we grew up in. Like the article talked about, we watched the Twin Towers, we watched Barack Obama become the president. We have opportunities to just study abroad, interact with various people, college educated, different platforms. And don't forget, although we're damn if we do and we damn if we don't, we have technology to just interact and advance us, to take us so far. So I don't know more about the world. We're exposed to more of the world than the previous generation.
So we have access to know more about the world, man.
Yeah.
So, and it's mind-boggling. I understand we grew up with dial-up and all that stuff, but then I'm looking at the people after us who grew up literally with just technology, no type of interruption of internet service, this and that.
So this current generation?
Yeah, this current, they don't know what's going on in the world because they worrying about the stupid shit that's on these other social medias. So I would say that we have access to know more about the world, but it all depends on what we want to know. I feel like our generation, the millennials, we focus on a lot of protests and, how we can get all of our voices heard and all of our beliefs out, whereas,
well, I don't know if they don't know what's going on. I think
they don't know.
They don't. I don't think they know the significance of. So, for example, let me give you an example. I was working. I have an after-school program that I work with kids. It's called On the Mic or whatever, right? So I was playing the Beyonce live homecoming album. They were like, "Why are you playing Beyonce?" And the dude's like, "Man, that's gay. Why are you playing Beyonce?" But I was just telling them this is significant because, as we mentioned earlier, the first black woman to headline Coachella since 1999, and she's using this platform to. I hear music. Oh, that's my phone. My bad. That's my alarm.
God.
So
what? I was like, yeah, what's
I'm sorry. So yeah, what I was saying, I think it's a matter of them knowing the significance of certain news. So yeah, as I was explaining, first black woman headline Coachella since 1999. So I mean, because think about it, news comes up in memes now. So I don't think that the younger generation doesn't know what's going on. I think they just may not know the significance as to why this is important or why this matters.
Exactly.
Because my student came to me about, hey, did you hear about the bombing in Russia?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
We have some educated children, and it's our job. We have some educated children, and it's our job to, fill in and help them fill in those gaps. If you know you're in their presence and they're asking you questions as an educator and a natural leader, it is your job and then responsibility to correct them and narrow them down the correct path.
Yeah.
But in the
go ahead.
But in the same token, I feel like the dependency of technology is a hindrance in the sense like, who's to say if it's real or not? Just because it's on media or social media sites or news sites, that doesn't mean it's real.
But fake news has existed long before.
Exactly.
I mean, and I've mentioned this in another episode. When I walk in Walgreens and I see People magazine, or let me not say People because I don't know exactly what publication it is, but you see these different magazines which basically they plaster these photos of celebrities with fake news headlines. So, I mean, I think that's a journalism issue. That's a news publication issue. I don't think that's just a younger generation not knowing. Yeah, there's a lot of fake news, you know what I'm saying, out here. But, you know, sticking to what we were talking about, they know more about the world. And McLovin, you mentioned it. I think one thing that's very unique about our generation is the fact that, yeah, we're able to protest and raise awareness through social media. Or being able to find out what's going on in the world.
You have to think about the pros and the cons of it. Like, we're able to protest and let the rest of the world know about Tamir Rice. You have to think about it. Yes, it's a pro and a con to it. Because if we didn't have social media, that Tamir Rice could have possibly been swept under the rug. Nothing could have been done.
Right.
Trayvon Martin.
Exactly.
Yep.
Who first broke that news story? Twitter.
Thank you.
But
it was
Emmett Till was not a Twitter or a Facebook thing, so people knew that.
But that was
it was a part of media. It was in a newspaper. It was media, still newspaper, and it traveled.
That was also in an era when the Black community were definitely standing up to fight and combat all of those issues.
Exactly.
Their presence was strong at that time as well.
Right.
So they made sure they spread the word, but I feel like that's also a totally different subject.
And two, we don't know what it was like to live in that time.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think that's what I do love about. So, I mean, yeah, like you said, McLovin, it can definitely be a spread of fake news, but we're also able to raise awareness of current social issues through it.
I wanted to add in this subject, though. They talked about how millennials are fighting to serve, fulfill, and go after their purpose in life through their jobs, which led to the high rates of entrepreneurships in our 20s. And that hit because while we're talking about social media, we use that as our platform to be able to even put out what we're doing. Like, millennials know ahead of time, you got to get what you want, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And I have a lot of friends who I think that kind of go like who, you know, do things like Fulbright. They, you know, kind of serve in very impoverished communities across the country, whether it be some type of country or province within Africa. So, yeah, I think that's definitely something. And as you mentioned, McLovin, access. We're having, I think that was McLovin that said that, kind of having that access and that aspiration to do things like that. Also, when it comes to knowing more about the world, I think there's a great trend in entrepreneurship nowadays, kind of not taking the traditional route of, I have to go to school to be successful. Yeah. I definitely think millennials have combated that idea.
I agree with that because you have to understand, like, we grew up in a generation where education was hammered down. It's like you had two paths. It was either vocational or college. Once they did away with the vocational track, everyone pursued post-secondary institutions due to the fact of lack of knowledge and lack of opportunities of actually pursuing your dreams. So whether you had a dream of being an entertainer or an artist, you were not provided a platform for that because, oh, you're not going to make any money for it. So therefore you need to go to college and just suck it up and go do a 9-to-5, just like us baby boomers did. Do not kill me, but, or send me hate mail, you know, just like the previous generations, you should sit in an office, brick and mortar. You shouldn't explore your creativity or anything like that. We were not provided those options, which pushed us towards education and post-secondary institution.
Well, I think too, in addition to that, one thing that I felt learned as I've gotten older is that the more I reflect on college, the more I realize that it was more of a networking tool than anything. And even when I look at those people who were like my mother, her best friends were, you know what I'm saying, she's received jobs because of who she went to school with, or she's been able to connect me with people because of who she went to school with. So I think, you know, earlier in life, I saw it more so, oh, I need to get an education. But I think one of the most beneficial kind of elements or things about a higher education is your opportunity to network.
Yep.
You know, yeah, the education is great, but I think that's the greatest tool that it serves as.
Yeah.
The social media kinds of provide you that opportunity without having to go to college.
What do you mean?
Now, so you can be a DM away from $1 million.
Wow, interesting.
That's true.
You can be a Facebook message away from your next big hit.
Interesting.
So social media, like you're damn if you do it, you're damn if you don't. How you use it and market yourself, you're the next millionaire.
Why are you telling me that we're the next millionaire?
Look, yes, you don't know. You don't know what could happen. It goes down in the DM.
But true.
It goes down in the DM.
It does. But we also have to emphasize that it takes a certain type of ambition to make it without a higher education. I think a lot of people, like a lot of friends that I have that maybe didn't choose to go to college, they're go-getters. It's not like, oh, I didn't go to college, but they kind of had this intrinsic quality in them that made them go after whatever they're passionate about. So I think that for a majority of us, I think, and I know you're not saying it's not necessary, but even with the social media DM, you know, whatever your presence is on social media, how you're engaging with people, that still takes a certain type of ambition. But keeping like with social media, what do you all think? So are our attention spans shorter because of social media? I personally think yes.
Yeah.
I get so bored of PD.
Man, that's real. Like, I was doing state testing, and
Tragic.
You wanted to pick up your phone, right?
So I had my
social media.
So first of all, they tell us that our phones need to be out of the classroom.
You can't even read a book.
So we supposed to monitor them at all times. So for state testing, I had my phone in my pocket. In my mind, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna set me a goal for not being on my phone for the whole time of testing. It was 90 minutes. I almost was there. I promise you, I was almost there. I was at 15 minutes. Okay, so I was almost there. So yeah, I mean, I think yeah, that's definitely.
Didn't I say at the beginning of the conversational piece? Like how we like gravitate towards always trying to check our phone.
That's true.
Yeah.
Do you not do that though?
It depends. It differs.
When your phone rings, you already looking at it. You ain't even like.
Your mind doesn't drift even in the middle of doing work. Your mind doesn't drift, and you look for a source of entertainment from your phone.
Not my phone, my laptop.
Man, let me.
Okay, still that's technology.
Okay, so for me, it all depends on what I'm interested in at that moment.
Like,
it depends. Like, it legit depends on how I'm feeling.
Do y'all got Apple Watches?
I don't.
I don't.
It's to a point where when I don't even have my Apple Watch on, I feel like it's ringing. I'm like, the fuck is...
Now, that's you. We ain't got that type of money, McLovin.
You ever known when like you have a
AirPods,
message waiting for you,
MacBook,
even if you didn't
Apple
hear
Watch.
it?
You just know somebody just text you.
And then you look, see.
I knew she was going to text me.
But all right, y'all, let's keep it moving. So also within this article, it was said that there's less respect for traditional authorities.
I think that goes back to Ooh, what's going on with this? I think it goes back to what we were saying about how entrepreneurship has definitely increased in our 20s and how we want our jobs to look like.
Interesting. Now, speaking of jobs, what we want our jobs to look like. Oftentimes, I don't know about you all, but I hear, whether it be, just like people that are older than me or even relatives sometimes that kind of talk about or kind of not criticize, but like have something to say about your life goals not kind of aligning with what's safe.
Yeah.
And I think specifically the article said like life goals don't align with yours. So, with whoever is trying to give you advice or whatever. So I do think millennials, we have a tradition, we have a different sense of what our life goals are.
I don't think we have less respect. I just think we
have
different.
No, we move past. I'm talking about life goals. Like, so in terms of, hey, we want to have a family by this age. We want to get married, have a family, blah, blah, blah. So I feel like we have moved forward in terms into the like, hey, I may want to be single. I may want to accomplish my goals. We may be more career driven and maybe less family oriented.
Traveling the world.
What do you think?
Well, that has everything to do with opportunity and socioeconomic status.
I was about to say, don't nobody got time for kids.
Exactly. If you can't afford it, look. Hold up.
Everybody don't have to. I ain't got. I don't have a penny for kids right now.
Let me finish. Life goals, we're not saying we don't want kids or we don't desire to be married. We desire all of those things, but at a later age. I don't think, traditionally, maybe people got married at 21, 25, and yes, it's moved up to 30 and possibly not married at all, depending upon how you feel.
A lot of not married at all.
Exactly. But I don't think the life goals differ that much because at the end of the day, we still want love. We still want a family, some of us, and we still want to be able to provide. And I would say the age range, it may not align, but I feel like our life goals and what we want, our end goals still align. Our paths are just different.
Yeah, but a lot of times you hear, well, okay, if you pursue this, what about this? What about that? So sometimes I feel like there's an encouragement to, quote unquote, play it safe.
There is
and so when I say like life goals don't align with what other people think you may do, that's exactly, kind of what do you think about that? Like this kind of playing it safe mentality. So, don't do, I don't want to spread your, but don't go after that. Mm-hmm. All right, stay where you at or be comfortable with your benefits and blah, 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 doing this. Don't take a chance on this because you don't know how you're going to pay for your next meal. You don't know how you're going to pay for rent,
So there is definitely, when it comes to the older generation, a negative connotation of being able to provide life goals and not aligning. So I do agree with that when you state like life goals not aligning and negative connotation of you taking that next career move. I do because they do want us to play it safe. They want us to stay in the brick and mortar building, work from 9 to 5, go home and raise a family. So I do agree with that. They don't align, especially when you're a creative or a dreamer or a potential influencer. So I do agree with that. Our life goals on how we aspire who we want to become does not align with that. But for the most part, I still don't think there's just much of a big difference.
So what about the go to school idea? Should we go to school?
So I grew up and my parents were hippies. My mom just said, "You not finna lay on my couch all day." Dead serious. Like I had you can go to college or you can work 40 hours a week, but you just not finna sit on your ass at my house all day. If college was not just the main focal point, it was like, you just not finna sit on your ass all day. That was the main focal point. You just wasn't finna lay on my couch. So college was an option. It wasn't like, oh, you have to go to college. You just had to get your ass up off my couch.
Well, I think a lot of people push towards education in the sense of, go to school because that's going back to the safe. The play it safe. If you go to school, you're gonna get a job. You're gonna get a 9 to 5. You're gonna get enough to pay bills. And it was never like that before our generation. It wasn't until they cut off trades and made the family start going to school in order to secure a job. If I knew what I knew now, I wouldn't have went to college. If I knew what I knew now in the sense of networking, in the sense of using my true talents, I wouldn't have went to school.
Because for many of us, it means basically a lot of student debt. And you getting this degree, and all you're doing is owing. You're owing for it.
And putting it in forbearance for years
and
until you're ready.
We live in a society now where, it's so competitive that there are people with law degrees that have to settle for jobs not in their field. You know what I'm saying? Or not to what their interest is, or settling for a job that, like I said, they all did not spend hours, semesters after semester, year after year studying for.
Yep.
So, I think that's interesting. So as we close out this segment, what do you think has been kind of one of the things that throughout our upbringing we've been misled to or to not consider?
Well, considering creativity and just exploring arts, I feel like the older generation kind of took us away from arts. Remember, we were the generation that had art taken out of schools, creativity taken out of schools, and just being pushed more towards the STEM majors and college educated in general. So I feel like creativity was taken from us. Like, you have to think about it. Bands in school, band programs, after school creativity programs were taken away from us. A lot of creativity was taken away from us that we are now pursuing as adults. That's why we pursue entrepreneurship, because we know we're creative, because we know what we really want to do and what's deep down in our passion. And due to the fact of things that were being taken away from us in our creativity, in our creative space, we're taking it back. That's like, well, you're not going to tell me what to do anymore. I'm grown, so I am going to pursue my creativity. And I feel like that's one of the biggest things that was taken away from us was our creativity and our creative rights.
I think that one thing, and I'm not sure about everybody's household, I think financial literacy is one. I'm pretty sure that there are households out there where kids are actually taught. And by taught, I mean sit down, let me show you how to get ahead.
How to budget.
You plot on a budget,
Invest.
what taxes look like, like actually sitting a child down and understanding this is what your financial wealth needs to look like when you're out on your own. And I'm not talking about just saying, oh, you got to save, you got to save, you got to save. When an adult becomes an adult, you need to know how to work with your salary, it's just a lot of stuff that I feel like was kind of like pushed to the back for some households, and it doesn't help millennials get ahead at all.
And if I was hard-headed, you just had to slap me and sit me down and say, look, you need this. Because I think a lot, we may have been a little hard-headed too. I can see my mama saying that. I love you, Mama.
Same here.
It's different. I feel like just telling a child is nothing compared to actually teaching. You can't just tell.
Well, y'all, we got to move on. So thank you for tuning in to episode 10, those quote-unquote millennials. Let's go ahead into words of affirmation, the Dear Millennials open letter, OPP.
All right. Dear millennials, I just want to start off by saying love yourself. Don't compromise who you are to be recognized. In the age of social media, stop doing what you think society will applaud and be unapologetically you. Start living your best life and be you. Don't be in competition with anyone else or try to keep up with the Joneses and live outside of your financial means for a fictitious tale. Be you, be authentically you. So this week, I encourage you to be you. Love you and do you, boo. And remember, self-love is the best love and sometimes the only love that will help you make it through. And that is all I have for y'all, D-Mills.
Gil, can we get a fact check, please?
And those are the facts.
Be you, boo boo. Y'all, before we head out, a couple of quick announcements. So, our next show will be a live show, the Live Ass Podcast, on May 1st. That's a Wednesday, y'all. May 1st, 2019. Make sure you tune in.
How can they tune in?
Facebook Live, y'all.
Right.
Facebook, and we'll be posting the links on our social media accounts. Also, be on the lookout for the Lit Ass Appreciation. More information coming soon. I am Marvin Frank, top ranked Marvin Frank, singer-songwriter, student to the game, homie, lover, friend. Mama, I love you. Daddy, I love you. Cam, I love you. Shout out to my sister. I love you, boo. Praying for you and your family. Shout out to Mackenzie Dakota, my guy's daughter, and her mama, Woo. Love you. All right.
It's your boy South Memphis. Y'all know what it is. Your boy South Memphis. It's your boy McLovin, man. South Memphis Stand Up once again. Baby Dale, I love you, man. Getting ready for this daycare stuff. I got to pay all this money. Can't wait to see you and eat on turkey dogs. Nadine, I love you. I'm going to shout you out every time. You made me who I am. Lamar Garden, stand up. Y'all know how we get down, man.
All right, Mary Jane, Georgia Ray's Memphis Pay, book club creator, the woman storyteller, and your favorite around the way girl. Today, I love myself.
And y'all already know who it is. It's your girl OPP, aka South Memphis Queen, also known as the Memphis Finest. I just want to shout out my family today for the support. And I know you guys had a kick out of episode 9, so tune in this week. And I will see you guys at our live show, I know for sure.
Yo, thank y'all for tuning in. Peep the t-shirts, the Lit Ass t-shirts. Shout out to McLovin, Marvin Frank, OPP, Mary Jane, McLovin. We are #Liddy Committee. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Have a lit ass week.
Yeah. Pull up. Where is it?
Behind Marvin.
It is.
Yeah.
Communion.
The preceding is an OM production. For more information, go to theoamnetwork.com.